Okay, I think we're live now.
I found 10 disconnected.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We're just about getting things started. Yes, welcome, Rose. Welcome, my sister, Coach Kemi. It's good to have you in the house. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. Ladies, you do not want to miss this. Yes, let the dancing continue. Of course, someone is here from Zambia. Thank you for making out the time. We're about to get things started. And I'm going to play a beautiful, really nice song from Ghana because our guest is Ghanaian, right? What are the odds?
Yeah.
So yes, about to do it. Akwaboa, and the song is Obia featuring
Yes.
Sina Soul. So
Oh,
let's
yes.
go. So do me a favor, share this video, invite others, and let the conversation get started. Another 2 minutes. We just want to rock it out and welcome our guest who is all the way from Ghana. There you go.
Sina Soul. Kodo di se ano kami, kodo mi oya omami yemre. Kodo di se ano kami. This one I'm anything from. The one I'm about anything they true. Kodo di se ano kami. What is that? That's magic. Sorry, I'm about one dream. Go dance one dream. When you mention into Mintina, me wanna swim into Mingasa. Me do it, say I know penny. And I need someone to call my own. Me and I can't get. Now I found someone to sit on my throne. Oh, me friend, you him, I don't be your. Oh yeah, me mau pichanga me yet. Oh yeah, enkosi tepo better sentine murie. Tumaske, you know when them days in the me, when them days in the
That's a beautiful tune. I wish I could stand up and dance.
Wow, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. That was, listen, I didn't want to stop. And let me tell you something about Ghanaians. They love to have, I mean, their music is all about love. And I was like, these people love. Excuse me. So that's a great thing because we know that Sarah came with love for us today. So
Yes, of
if you have
course.
just been wondering and looking for someone to love upon you, I have brought love your way. So you want to be here and do not come to this session alone. Invite others to be part of what we're doing. Welcome, everyone. Of course, Facebook, I do not have a right to this music. We are just having an amazing time wherever you have the African women. We're always having fun. We're always dancing. We're always listening to good music. I mean, music is a way of us connecting. We connect via our music, our food, our culture. It's just beautiful. And I bring to you this beautiful lady all the way from Ghana, from Koforidua in Ghana.
Yes.
Yes, you might have seen the post. I know so many people have been asking me what's going on. I said, listen, we're not playing this time.
At
We're
all.
to empower women, then empowerment must be holistic. We have to do a whole 360 work of what makes up the African woman. Why does she
Yes.
struggle with self worth and self esteem? And we're going to have a look at every area of the woman's life, the African woman. And that's why we created the You Brand series. Welcome, Sarah. Everyone is
Thank
excited.
you, Dr. Luisa.
And if you've never met me before, my name is Dr. Louisa Akaizo, and I am the founder of Women Who Win Africa. And what do we do? It's a platform that empowers the African woman to build her leadership capacity in order for her to drive meaningful change and build legacies that would outlive her. So we have a lot of programs, a lot of initiatives. If you're just seeing me for the first time, where have you been? Because I'm around. I mean, I'm in the space. We're doing stuff. We're creating change. We're changing lives. We're transforming lives. So if you're just
Yes, we're doing a lot.
something is wrong, you need to just kind of follow me right now and go back on my post. There's so much that you're going to learn. You know, God has been awesome. I always say that God is just kind of showing off through me and showing off through my brand, because it's really not me doing all that we do. It's really just by the grace of God. And so I cannot forget that. That is just God that has brought me this far. He has made me to connect with wonderful people like you. And today, of course,
Yes.
I'm with my sister, Sarah. She's doing amazing work. She's well known as the global midwife. So that
Yes.
means that, listen, if you wanted to push a baby and you were sitting down on Facebook and you were going to push or stop, you can get in touch with Sarah,
Right away.
and she's going to get on and tell you exactly what to do. Can you imagine? Look at the power of social media. It's just amazing. It
Yes,
connects us from different parts of the world, and you know,
definitely.
in your tiny space and so small. I mean, you have to kind of expand your thinking. You have to
Yes.
expand your mindset. And Coach Kemi is here, who is ready to just kind of put you into flow. You have to change the way that you think. You know that you there's so much that you can do with social media. There's so
Yes.
much. Sometimes we think social media is all about posting your pictures. Well, I want to see your beautiful pictures, but what next? After I've seen your pictures, what next? Especially if you are from Africa, we have
Yes.
so much work to do. There's so much poverty. There's so much happiness, so much pain, right? So you need to
Definitely. Yes.
ask yourself, what can I do to make Africa better?
A better place.
If you have not been thinking that way, please, I encourage you to do that. And welcome, Sarah Coleman Lee. It's great to have you. As she said, it's amazing to be able to connect from all over the world. Absolutely. So, guys, if you're just jumping here, do me a favor, get into the comment box and let me know what country you're representing. I know before I saw that Zambia was in the house, and I've seen Nigeria too. I saw Kenya as well. Rose, and Sarah Coleman, where are you joining us from? Please, where are you joining us from? I want to be able to give you a shout out. You don't want to be in my midst and I don't know that you came. Are you serious? I'm ready to thank you out. So put your name in the comment box. It said Charleston, South Carolina. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's my sister. Nigeria is here showing off. Excuse me. Okay, okay.
But Ghanaian people will come very soon.
Absolutely. I know they're going to be here. I know they're going. Please come in. And this is how we do. We have amazing time. This person, your name is not showing, but please type out your name, because sometimes if you're not registered with StreamYard, sometimes StreamYard is kind of a little bit disrespectful to African women by not showing your name. Are they serious? Don't they know who you are? But welcome. Thank you so much for making out the time. I just want you to know that I really sincerely appreciate you. You really made my day and the day of everyone for taking out the time to really spend this time with me. And it's probably afternoon, evening, night where you are. And another Kenya is here. Kenya, are you going to be showing off, Sheila? Excuse me. Listen, guys, if you are here and you haven't told me your country, Kenya is about to blow things up. I don't think we want to allow them. Please let us know what country you're joining us from. And of course, it's going to be an exciting conversation. You know, in Africa, we hate to talk about certain things. And then
Yes.
we ask questions when our girls get abused. And we said, why did this happen? You know, some parents will tell you, no, I don't want to talk about sex with my children. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're not going to tell them about sex, somebody else will.
Bro, yes.
And maybe they're not going to say it in a good way. Welcome, Nigeria. Nigeria is showing up too. Nigeria is showing up. Welcome. So please, we have to have these difficult conversations to build ourselves, to build our girls, to build our nation. We are so beautiful, but you know, sometimes in certain spaces we struggle. I mean,
Yes.
look at the case of what happened in Kenya with the senator who was wearing the outfit with the period.
With a
It was
period, yes.
interesting to see people's comments. A lot of people said, why should she? Hey, my sister is here from Virginia. Welcome, sis. It's good to have you in the house. And people were asking, why does she, period is very unhealthy,
Sacred.
sacred. I'm like, ma'am, cut the nonsense off. Period is us.
Yes.
That's who we are. You must get used to that. Period. And so Eswatini is in the house. Look at that. Listen, guys, I'm just gonna fly out from my chair. You know me. Excited that you made out time to be here. But we have to begin to have these difficult conversations about ourselves. What concerns us? A lot of young women in Africa are dying. A lot of young people, the numbers continues to increase in terms of mental health issues. And we don't have the right resources and systems and help and support for them. And yet you don't want to talk about it. When you find somebody whose moods have changed and say, oh, she's just having a mood swing. She's not just having a mood swing, sis. Find out from her what's going on. What's going on? Nobody can just sit down, instead of smiling, begin to frown. It's impossible. Something is going on inside of that place. And so it's the same thing with our feminine hygiene. It is so important because every month, whether you like it or not, the period shows up. How many of us are upset when you just wake up in the morning and you see the period? You're like, why did you come today?
Again, why?
Again, and today I wanted to go to that party again. And you feel like, why did you come today? Why did you come tomorrow? And so many of us, we have so much pain, when we're on our periods, and they start taking all kinds of pills. You start taking all kinds, and then we have all kinds of interesting myths in Africa. Oh, when you have a baby, there's no pain. Girl, let me tell you, I fell into that myth too. I was so sure that after one baby, there was no more pain. So when I was pushing out my first daughter, I was like, thank you, Jesus. This is the end of pain. But then, as soon as my period showed up, it looks like the pain multiplied. I said, wait, what happened? And all of these things are because we are uninformed. We are uninformed. So we have to begin to have those conversations. Coach Kemi says, thank God we have at least 25 days off. I know, right? And sometimes the 25 days come so fast, and the next one starts. And maybe you're that person that has a lot of acne coming out when the period is coming. Your face, you were just looking beautiful yesterday. The next thing, everything is These are the issues of the women. But what we found with research is that we have to prioritize caring for our vagina. Nobody would say it. That is Dr. Lisa said it. Yes, you have to. Please, how many people in the comment box wanted to scream for me? They just get in the comment box and say, sis, yeah,
you shouldn't have said that. No, you should have used a proper word.
It's like, what? Dr. Louisa, hey, how did you mention that? No, I don't do that. And some of us even give it a nickname, all kind of nicknames. Some people said it's JJ. Please put in the comment box. What's your own nickname? What's your own nickname for it? We have to get used to talking about it. It is your gift from God. Because if you're not proud of it, you're not going to take care of it. And now we have now seen, and I learned from this, my beautiful sister, that poor health, poor caring of that place can affect you mentally. I was like, sis, come on, preach your message. I can't. When I saw the post on her page, I said, excuse me, Coach Kemi. Yeah, AJ, they have all kind of names for it because we don't want to embrace it. We don't want to embrace who we are. When you're feeling uncomfortable down there, you don't want to tell anybody. You don't want to seek for help. Meanwhile, you're dying on the inside. So the expert is in the house today. And I'm about to just kind of allow her to do her thing and teach us because I'm here to learn. Because sometimes we see in the stores the vaginal wash. And then I also hear from my sister that that shouldn't be a thing. So
No.
I'm like, okay, where do we go? Do we wash this thing? See, Ellen's here. Gambia is in the house. It says same for me, Coach Kevin. This is BJJ. Okay, okay. So I was like, okay, wait, sis. So what are we gonna do? Some people, some countries said you have to sit on hot water and wash it. And some countries, you have a special soap and a special way of sitting and a special way of cornering your leg. And I said, sis, please help us. Please, my sister. That's why we brought you here to help us. Why is this important? And I'm just going to pass this to you. We're just really trying to set the tone for the session. I'm not the expert, guys. I'm not the expert. So I will just set in the tone for the session. So my sister Sarah, I just want you to first of all say hello to the audience and just share with them who you are, just for those people who did not read the post. Okay, we're just not you're like, who is she? This she's an expert, and then please help us. Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
help us, Biko. Introduce yourself to the audience and let them know who you are and what you do for us to get the conversation started. Over to you, my
All
sister.
right. Thank you so much, Dr. Louisa. It's such a pleasure to finally meet you. As since I got connected with you on LinkedIn, I've been following your posts and you're doing amazing work. God bless you so much for all you do for the women. And thanks to everyone who has joined us. You guys are hypers. I'm loving the conversation already. My name is Sarah Nkansah Boateng. You can call me your global midwife. Yeah. I'm from Ghana. I'm a practicing midwife. I've been practicing for 3 years. I'm so passionate about what I do. And also, I am the executive lead of Nkansah's Foundation, is an NGO which aims at girl child education and community development. With a girl child education, is geared towards breaking the menstrual myth, the menstrual poverty myth. So we go out there, we give them the education on menstrual health and hygiene, then we distribute sanitary pads to these girls. We realize that what the activities we do help them keep them in school. They actually stay in school. Most of them do not go to school because of lack of sanitary products and the high tariffs, high tax on sanitary pads. They are not able to purchase. So we try as much as possible, depending on the benevolence of our sponsors. They help us with sanitary pads. Then we give out to these girls. It will surprise you to know the kind of things these girls use during their periods. Some people use leaves, some people use foam, some people use dirty rags. Others don't wear anything at all and they walk like that, and they are not able to open up to speak to their parents. They do not have people they can freely open up to, and it goes a long way to affect their health, and later in life it affects their fertility. So we try as much as possible tackling the health of these girls, and we are trying to infiltrate this reusable sanitary pads because we believe that reusable sanitary pad is the future. We do not know how long we'll be able to distribute these sanitary pads to the girls. Looking at the taxes involved, the economic crisis, we do not know how long we'll be able to sustain that. So we are trying as much as possible to infiltrate the reusable sanitary pads. So basically, that is what I do. I advocate for reproductive health, maternal health, and hygiene. So if you go through my page, one thing that stands out is I give more education in reproductive health, sexual and reproductive health, and maternal and child health. And as she said, there are lots of guys on my page who have unfollowed me because they say I'm talking so much about vagina, I'm talking so much about pad, thinking so much about blood, menstrual blood. So most of them, most of them meet me and they're like, "You, I have unfollowed you. I don't want to see that thing. I don't want to see that thing again." But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So yes, basically that's what I do. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's so good to meet you, and thank you so much for the work you're doing for the girl child. Really, that's something that I'm very passionate about, which of course you know. And we do not have a choice. We have to work tirelessly to bring some form of solution, some form of relief. You know, it's very heavy in our hearts. Period poverty is something that really breaks my heart. So I'm so happy to be connected to another sister who carries the same burden, who carries the same pain. Thank you so much. So it just
Thank
takes
you
me
too.
to my next question for you, Sarah, is yes, the big elephant in the room, the vajayjay, right?
Yes.
Or- Guys, listen, if you're just joining me, get into the comment box. My sister is here. Excuse me. Hawa is here. And my sister, big sis Muti, is here as well. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know, what name do you call your vagina? What name do you call it? What do you tell your kids? I see so many ladies here with girl kids, you know, the girl child. What do you tell them? You start telling them, "Oh, cover your private part." Sis, listen, we need to call it the real name because we've been saying this private part thing for so long. And so the kids become private and don't
Yes.
want to talk about it. And so when someone begins to try to touch the place because you've been saying private, this and that, without really taking the time to point out to them that, hey, this place, shut the door, nobody's going here. And so that's why we're having this conversation. And please invite others. You know, we're having fun with this, but we're learning because this is something that really, really bothers every one of us. So, Sarah, tell us about the right way to clean our vagina. What's the best way medically? What should we do? You know, I hear about how the vagina can clean itself. I'm like, is there a special kind that can clean itself, or is it all kinds that can clean themselves? You know, people talk about vagina having the self-cleaning um factor. Is that true? Can you hear me? Hello, it looks like she's frozen for a minute. And welcome anyone who is just joining us for the first time. But I think Sarah is a little bit frozen. Maybe it's her network. She's going to be right back. Can you hear me, Sarah?
Hi, please can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I think
Okay,
my network
good.
is so
That's
bad.
fine. So my question for you is, what's the best way for us to wash our vagina? What's the best way?
Okay, thank you so much. But before I answer the question, I'd have to clear this that there's a difference between the vagina, and we have the vagina, and we have the vulva. So,
She has taken it to master class. Oh yeah, tell us.
so mostly we confuse ourselves
Wow.
that I'm going to wash my vagina. I'm going to wash my vagina, but in actual sense, we are washing our vulva.
Wow.
So what we see when we go naked, when you
Mm,
take off your clothes, what you see, the one that has the hair on, that some of us don't shave, some of us do shave.
right,
But
right.
that what we see is the vulva. So the vulva, it's like the hub of all the external genitalia of the female,
Mm,
which has the vagina in it. The vagina only receives the pennies as a pathway for menstruation and also a canal through which the baby comes through, and it opens to the cervix, then the uterus. So I would want to school us a bit with the vulva,
yes.
then we go into the vagina.
Hmm.
And so the vulva, which I already said that is like the hub, not like it is the hub for
Mm,
all the external female genitalia. It starts from where the hair is. It is called the mons pubis. The mons pubis. That is where the hair is.
yes.
And
Okay.
the hair there, God is wise. God allowed that place to grow to prevent irritation of the skin. But
Mm,
it is in our, we should also be wise enough to keep that place clean.
wow.
You shouldn't wax that place or use razor to clear everything. The hair is there for a reason.
Hmm.
So when you take everything out, you create an avenue for infections. You realize that your pores get opened, then it attracts infections very easily to you. Then also there's friction and irritation anytime there's skin to skin contact during sexual intercourse, when that place is very dry or there's no hair. So the hair there helps with trapping bacterials. It helps you
Yes.
trap the bacteria so that you do not get infected. But that does not mean you should leave the place bushy. It is advisable that you trim, because you know that when it gets sweaty,
Hmm.
the more bacterials you get, the more infections you get. So the mons pubis is supposed to be trimmed, not waxed or razored.
Hmm.
Then also, you shouldn't get intimidated because someone's mons pubis is bigger than yours. In natural sense, it's just fat deposition. It's because the person has a lot of fat deposition. That's why hers is fatter. So it means that yours, you don't have enough fat deposition. So you shouldn't get intimidated at all that yours is smaller and the other person's is bigger.
Hmm.
Then you see that there are two folds that looks like lips. So we call it the labia majora, the bigger lips.
Okay.
The bigger lips. So it's called the labia majora. That lips protects what is in the vulva.
Hmm.
You see that when you squat, the bigger lips, it covers what is in the vulva. Then the
Yes.
lip has small hairs that grows by its side. Those hairs are there for a reason as well. And you'd also have to trim but not wax or take it all out. They are there for a reason. Then when you go in further, you see that there are smaller lips again. That is the labia minora.
Hmm.
So labia means lips, so small lips and bigger lips. So the smaller lips, that is the labia minora, it has, it folds up to form the clitoris at the top.
Okay. Okay.
So it is the labia minora, the smaller fold that forms up to form the clitoris.
Hmm.
And the clitoris is formed with the same erectile muscles as the penis. So
Wow.
you realize that the tip of the penis is very sensitive, and the tip of all the clitoris is also sensitive. So it is the same erectile muscle that was used at the tip of the penis. That's the same muscle used for the clitoris. So
Okay.
when it, just 2.5 centimeters below the clitoris, you see an opening, and that's the urethral opening where we wee from,
Hmm.
where we pee from. Then just beneath it, no, after the urethra, there are two holes just by the side of the urethra where we pee from.
Yeah.
So God, I always say that God is wise. You don't need to do anything extra to keep your vagina, your vulva clean. You don't need to do anything extra. Those two folds there, they release secretions that lubricates the vagina. The vagina is not supposed to be dry.
Hmm.
It's not supposed to be totally dry. So God in his own wisdom has created a cleansing agent around the vagina that secretes secretions to lubricate the vagina. And also, when you are in the mood, you are in action, it is the skinnies duct and the Bartholin's duct that secretes that lubrications to lubricate the vagina. So you don't need any lubricant, an extra lubricant. Some people go as far as using saliva to lubricate their vagina. Some people use pomade to lubricate their vagina in order to have penetrative sex, which is so bad. When
Hmm.
you do that, you are altering the normal pH of the vagina, which will get there. So the the vulva has six, no, women have six openings. Six openings. That small part you see, it has six openings. We have two skinnies ducts lying by the side of the labia minora. The skinix that it helps in lubricating the vagina, as I said. And we have the battlings that there are two on each side. And that one, it helps to cleanse the vagina. And then we have the vaginal orifice. The orifice like an opening. So the vagina is when you squat, just after the urethra, the next hole you see is the vagina. So depending on how stretched, maybe you've given birth before, yes, basically you've given birth before. It depends on the size of it, and as it stretches as elastic, and there are exercises that you can do that will bring it back to the former stage,
Yes.
pre-pregnancy stage. Yes, you don't need to be injecting anything there. There are exercises that you can be doing that will help you bring it there. So saying that, I'm trying to say that there's a difference between the vulva and the vagina. The vagina is in the vulva, so when we are washing, we wash our vulva.
Mm,
Yes, we do not wash our vagina. The vagina is inside. It is what receives the pennies. It is where we menstruate from, and is where the canal through which the baby comes through. And the vagina opens through the cervix to the uterus. So, I hope I was able to explain it.
Huh. Guys, if you're just joining us for the first time, we're having a great conversation here. I am learning a lot. So please come in and ask your questions, because I just heard something when she said they have six openings. I said, my goodness, I didn't see six. But if you've seen six, let me know in the comment box because I didn't see six. But maybe we
it's
have
it's not visible to us.
them.
I'm able to know that because when the women come and we are passing the catheter, that's what distinguishes the ducts and the urethra. So when you see that there are three holes lined up, the middle one is the urethra.
Mm,
So that's how come I'm able to know I have six holes. But
right.
I'm sure if I was a lay person, I'm not sure I would have known that I had
Wow.
six
I
holes.
mean, wow, this is so good that it's so important that we know these things. That I love that you shared, really breaking it down. Yeah, brilliant explanation. Absolutely. To know what is what, so where you should be washing, right? And where you shouldn't be touching. So, and I'm going to come for these people in the spa with this whole Brazilian, you know, taking off. I mean, what are we going
Yes.
to do with these women in the
You
spa?
should not be washing.
Brazilian wax, and
Yes.
taking off the hair and opening it up. You know what I mean? What do we do? How can we salvage that? And I loved when you said that so many of us have caused issues. Ah, my sister. Okay, please tell us how we're going to go back to normal. Please help us because I can imagine so many women. Let's go back to the comment box. I said very interesting topics. I know most women always feel like they need to clean inside. Great to learn that it's not necessary to do so. Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm coming for you, African women that sit on hot water and salt, because the global midwife is not gonna find it easy today. We will find out if what you've been doing has been destroying the vagina or building the vagina. So, Coach Kemi says,
Yes.
yes, that's sitting on a hole in the ground. There you go. We have somebody else says productive discussion, real talk. Yes, we have to have this real talk so you know where you're washing, because sometimes some women kind of make it seem like we need a special skill and we wash and wash and wash. We literally wash,
No.
down there like we're washing.
Everything out. Yes.
Wow.
And it looks like we want down there to have a specific smell, a
Mm,
specific scent. So we attach so much effort. We are buying
mm,
scented stuff just to make that place smell nice. But
yeah.
your vagina is not supposed to smell like a flower. I
Mm,
think my last post I posted on my social media, I mentioned that the vagina is not supposed to smell like flour or a
mhm.
tropical cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
And in as much as it's not supposed to smell like that, it's not also supposed to smell like, excuse me, but fish.
Mm.
There's a there's a natural way the vagina is supposed to smell. So those advocating for the feminine hygiene, those advocating for, I'm not against that, but you should ask yourself, there's a normal pH for the vagina. That's 3.8 to 4.5. That's a normal pH. And God in his own wisdom has made it so. So if you come and you disrupt the normal pH of my vagina, it means that the normal flora in there will be will be uncomfortable. And it means you're introducing new things to my vagina. You're going to make it dry. You're going to make me have painful sex. You're going to make me be uncomfortable, itching, irritation. Then sometime I'm going to have odor.
Hmm.
So we should, in as much as we want our money from the vagina, feminine wash and all that, we should also prioritize the health of our fellow women. That
Mm.
these things that I'm selling to them, in the long run, how is it going to affect them? And women have shorter urethras. When I say shorter urethras, connecting from where the opening is, connecting it to the bladder is very short as compared to men. So a man can have STI, and it will take the man 3 months, 4 months to be able to notice that he has STI. But when a woman should have an STI, in a split second, the woman is going to have the effect, the odor, the discharge, and all that. So we have shorter urethras, and because of that, we are prone to ascending infections. Ascending infections means that the slightest thing we do, it just drives up right to our reproductive organs. And how our reproductive organs internally are built, everything is fused together.
Mm.
The fallopian tube is closer to the uterus. The uterus is opening to the cervix. The cervix is coming to the vagina. So the slightest thing, it just runs so fast, and it goes to block your fallopian tube. There are people right now looking for children, and the only thing that is preventing them is because of infection. Their fallopian tubes are blocked,
Mm.
and it's a problem. So we should be very careful of what we introduce into our vagina. Whatever we want to introduce into our vagina, we should have in-depth understanding and knowledge about it before we do what we do. Because the vagina is a sterile place, is a sacred place.
Wow. This is this is really, this is some really good knowledge. And thank you so much for sharing this, really breaking it down for us to get it. So now that we have done all of this over the years, how can we salvage the vagina back? Is it possible to get back to where the way that God had created it? Is it possible? I think her network is down for a minute. Can you hear me now, sis? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So my question was, now that we all of these things have
Hello.
happened, is it possible to get us back to the way God created us? What do we have to do to get the vagina back
Okay.
to self-cleansing, to being able to, care for itself? Because what I understand is that the vagina is quite an interesting and intelligent organ because it knows what to do for itself.
Yes. Yes.
So what
For
do we have
itself, yes. You don't have to force it.
to
Okay. So as she said, the vagina is it's like it's on its own. It does everything on its own. You do not have to force it. You don't have to do anything extra to keep it clean. You just
mm,
have to do a little. And I'll start by saying that I'll start from clothing. The kind of clothes you're supposed to wear.
yes.
You need to wear breathable clothes. It needs air. It has to breathe. You have to wear breathable clothes and underwears, like cotton underwears.
Mm,
The reason we advocate for cotton underwears is that cotton soaks the sweat.
yes.
But if you wear a silk underwear, the silk wouldn't be able to soak the sweat, and it will leave it there, and it will leave you with odor. You go out and work the whole time. You come back and the place is bringing out this foul smell because
Mhm.
you're in the silk and a silk panty, and it wasn't able to trap the sweat. So from underwears, we are supposed to wear breathable clothes and preferably cotton underwear. And also after we take these underwears off, washing them, then we dry them in sunlight.
Mm.
We dry them under sunlight.
Wow.
That then even the towels that we use, when you use a towel, you try to clean that place and you want to put your hands there in douche like that. No, you're not taking anything out. You're just worrying yourself. You may never know that the towel has infections, and you introducing it into the vagina, you are going to introduce another infection into your reproductive organs, and it's going to help you. So you clean gently around your groin. Then if you have hair on your pubis, then you rub gently like that. You just clean the labia. That is all. You don't go inside. Like then make sure you're using a clean towel. You make sure that you're using a clean towel. Then also to diet, eating.
Mm.
The kind of foods we eat also have it goes a long way to affect how we feel down there, how our vagina feels. So I mostly tell my people that this fruit, pineapple is very good.
Mm.
Pineapple is very good if you want to have um a nice sweet spot. You should take pineapple. It does the magic. It's very good. But you make sure that you don't take in too much sweets,
Mm.
the yeast infection, candida, and all that. So you make sure you don't take too much of sweets, too much of the flour, and all that. You manage your diet. And even overall, apart from your vagina, it's for your good health.
Mm.
It's for your good health. So you make sure that you take in a well balanced diet overall. You drink a lot of water. Water flushes your system. And as you are flushing your system, every infection that is in your bladder, your urethra, it flushes it out easily. But if you starve yourself from water, you are keeping the infection that unknowingly you introduced to yourself. Maybe when you visited the washroom, maybe you were checking something, you douched, unknowingly you did that. You are holding it back. But if you drink water, like you intentionally drink water every time, you flush your system and you save yourself from these infection. And also um menstruation. Menstruation, sometimes I don't blame the women because of this long hours that we stay at work and all that. Some of them forget to change their period pads.
Right. Right.
They forget to change their period pads. And these disposable sanitary pads, they are made of certain chemicals. And these chemicals, it is not advisable to wear your sanitary pads for a longer period, for more than 8 hours. Even 8 hours is too much, like for more than 6 hours. But depending on your flow, you should be intentional enough to be changing it from time to time so that you don't breed infection. Some people after their menstrual cycle would always have to treat for infection. Always, every time they are done with their menstrual cycle, they have
Mhm.
to treat for infection because of how they managed that period. So I would advise my sisters on here that during your menstrual cycle, you make sure that you are intentional about changing your sanitary pads from time to time. I know it's expensive, but your health is also important. You make sure that you change it from time to time. And also, I think I wrote a few here. When we visit the washroom, I I didn't understand why growing up women were always asked that after the washroom we have to clean our vulva like that every time. But I know the men always cheat us. The men will just have to, after they are done, do shake. That is all. But with us, after you finish with the washroom, there's a particular way you have to clean your vulva. You don't have to clean from your anus to your vagina. No. So we have the normal floras everywhere. Your anus has its own normal flora. Your vagina has its own normal flora. Your mouth has its own normal flora. Normal floras are bacteria or microorganisms that are safe at a particular place. So the normal flora in our vagina is safe in the vagina, is doing its own work in the vagina. But when it leaves the vagina to a different place, then it becomes harmful to your health. So cleaning your vulva from down to up, it means that you are introducing the normal flora in your anus into your vagina. Your vagina is a sterile place. We shouldn't forget that. So doing that, it means that you are bringing or introducing the normal flora or the infection from your anus into your vagina. That is why it's advisable that you clean from the more sterile place, that is your vagina, to your anus. So you clean from up to down, not from down to up. So from up you clean like that, so that the vagina that is more sterile, you are cleaning to the anus. And also, when you are bathing, you do not douche. Some people have very dirty fingers, very, very dirty fingers. And when they are bathing, I don't know what they are looking for. I don't know what is missing there that they want to find. They will just be passing their hands through there. I don't know what they want. And the more you do that, the more you're introducing infection from your finger. See, the little things that we do unknowingly are the very things that puts us in danger. You may think you are just washing your vulva, or you are just putting your hands there to check something. You're not a gynecologist. If you think you have a problem, come to the hospital. We will look after you. But don't try to figure things out for yourself. So, douching is no. You do not have to douche. You do not have to put your fingers in there. And I'll speak to safe sex. Safe sex. Women are always at the receiving end. We are always the ones to receive. If a man has an infection, as I said initially, it will be difficult. It can take the man 3 to 4 months to be able to identify that he has an infection, because he will not be showing any signs and symptoms then. His urethra is longer than our own, so it is difficult for it to come out. But if the same man who has this STI should sleep with you, the woman, in the split second, you'd go through the signs and symptoms. You'd have the discharge, you'd have the itching, you'd have the the odor. Should always say that if it is not on, it is not in. If there's no condom on, it is not in, unless you trust the person. Trusting the person also means that you have gone to the hospital with the person. You have gone together to test for STIs, and you know that you are both clean. That is when you can risk it and say that you'd want to do a raw sex with a person. But we should always be intentional that if it is not on, it is not in. You should take charge of your reproductive system. You should take charge of your reproductive health. It is your personal decision, and you are doing that for yourself, not for anybody. So safe sex is important. And oral sex. No, let me finish with the safe sex. So when the pH of the vagina is different from the pH of the sperm. The pH of the vagina is different from the pH of the sperm. So anytime after sex, it is advisable that when you go and pee, you try and squeeze out the rest of the sperms that are left. If the man released inside of you, it is advisable that you squeeze out the the rest of the sperms that were left, so that it does not disrupt the normal pH of your vagina. And it's also advisable that anytime after sex, you pee. Anytime after sex, you pee. The science behind it is that you are bringing out any microbacteria that unknowingly entered into the vagina through the sexual intercourse. So it's advisable that after every sex you pee, and also you squint or you squeeze out the rest of the sperms in there, because it might disrupt the normal pH of the vagina. Now to oral sex. I am not against oral sex, but there's this thing that people are overdoing it. That is, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say this. Please, do I have the permission to?
We have to deal with it because people are going through it. For you to people are going through it.
Okay. So there's something these guys do that is like licking and the BJ and all that. And it's good. It is okay. I'm not against it. But I mentioned of a normal flora in the mouth. Maybe the guy has eaten pepper. The guy has taken
All right.
a goosey soup, fufu with a goosey. He didn't brush his teeth. And the next minute he's down there. You can imagine what will happen to your sweet spot. All the pepper, everything will be there. And the normal pH of the mouth is different from the vagina. And you are destructing the normal pH of the vagina. In the name of fun, we are not saying you shouldn't do that, but you should be mindful of it.
Wow.
You should be mindful of it. After all the everything, you take it. Then the next minute, boss is down there. You are putting yourself in danger. You are putting yourself in danger. So please, it is advisable that, should I say you limit it, you make sure the mouth is tidy. You make sure.
We might have toothbrush by the bedside. So you
I,
clean the mouth.
I cannot say that you should stop. I cannot say that you should stop. But I can only say that you should make sure that the mouth is tidy
Mouth is
before you do or you engage in anything like that. Then there's this one. Have I forgotten? No. So I think basically, I don't know if you have any question for me.
Ladies, please put your questions in the comment box. There's a comment here from Coach Kemi. All this sharing where it should not be is the reason we're developing all these nasty diseases. Oh my God, how can soup and meat and the flora in his mouth? When you
So
I was just thinking about the African food with all the spices. I mean, Africans, we love to we love to cook. You literally we're turning the vagina to jollof rice. So so please, my sister, so let's say this has already happened, okay? Where do we go from here? What do we have to do to try to restore back the pH, you know, level of the vagina? What can we do at this point? That's my first question for you. And the second one is, during the period, I find that some ladies ooze body odors, right? And sometimes I wonder. I mean,
hello,
sometimes I
can
feel
you
like
hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hi, Dr. Louisa.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? I think her network is bad, but we're just going to continue. She's going to come back. So, what I was saying is sometimes we notice that sometimes young girls or even ladies, okay, you're back now. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
please, I can hear you.
So, I was trying to ask you a question. I said sometimes as young girls or women, you find that some people ooze some kind of odor when they're on their periods. And so I think this is the reason why most people think that they have to scrub, their vagina and all of that, especially during their periods, or, you kind of hear people, some comments like, oh, she's not washing down properly. So, what's the best way to wash down, especially with periods and the heat? Like in Africa, it's very hot. What's the best way to wash down properly, even with the periods? Will the water alone be okay with the periods? That's my question for you.
Yes. So you can use a soap, but you make sure that you use a mild soap, not
Mm,
a scented soap. They have irritations when you use these soaps, and some people would want to use these disinfectants. They'll pour everything into the water because they want to smell like the hospital. I don't know, but
yeah.
just pour everything inside the water. But the water and a mild soap is enough to keep you clean. If you are clean on your own, you do not have to do much, even in your periods. You
Mm,
only need your water and your mild soap, and that is all. You are good to go.
okay.
No
Okay.
vaginal spray or anything.
Wonderful. So we have a question here for you, and the question is from Coach Kemi. She said, "I've been in menopause for 12 years. Do the vulva and vagina behave differently, or do they need special care or different care?" That's the question for you.
Okay, so that's a very nice question. So the vulva is different when you are in your productive age. Please can you
Mm.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello,
you. Yep, I can hear you.
hello, Sir Louisa.
I think it's the network. See, this network is becoming demonic. What is the problem? We're learning about vagina, and the network is messing up. If you're just joining us for the first time, it's such a great conversation we're having here with global midwife Sarah Nkasa Boateng, who is joining us all the way from Ghana. You can see she's actually in the hospital working. Excuse me. And we had to bring the experts really to teach us what's the best thing to do. It was very concerning for me when I began to see the numbers and how poor our feminine hygiene is linking up to mental health and some of the diseases that we deal with. I thought, it's time for us to bring this and begin to have these difficult conversations. And also, as African women, as African girls, our mothers never really wanted to talk about the vagina. It was always kept sacred. The vagina is kept sacred, it's actually sacred in its nature, but we have to speak about it because it's beginning to affect us. We have to teach our girls what to do. We also have to know what to do. It's very hot in Africa and different parts of the world. At some point, it becomes hot, and it really bothers me when I see young girls or women, you know, not smelling, the way it should be. Um, and the interesting thing is that we think that we can mask those funny odors with the perfume, with whatever, and sometimes the perfume can really do it all. So we had to bring the expert to teach us the best way
I'm
for us
so
to
sorry, my
protect
network is
ourselves.
so bad.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's been wonderful. So
Okay.
yes, you
So
want
I
to
was
do
saying that
okay.
yes, I was saying that the vulva behaves differently in your reproductive age, and
Mm,
it's different when you get to menopause. So there's a hormone called estrogen.
mm,
Estrogen helps us during the reproductive age. It's estrogen that helps us with our developments, our breasts, our
mm.
skin, our hair, our butts, our hips. It makes us look nice during our reproductive age. But as we age, the estrogen levels drop.
I don't know
We
why the
say
net.
that the vulva it shrinks and it's mostly dry, which is normal. It's normal. When you get to menopause, it shrinks and it's mostly dry. The labia minora majora, it shrinks. It's not able to receive the lubrication as it's supposed to when you are in your reproductive age, which is totally fine.
Wonderful. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Coach Kemi, and of course that question is for everyone here, because even if you're not in menopause yet, we're heading there. And very soon, you don't really know when it shows up. So it was a really good question. And if you have any question about your own personal self, I know Sarah says, sounds like the ones with the different fragrance. That's right, Sarah. I mean, I'm just like, I'm asking myself a lot of questions. I'm like, wait, what about all those douches we're buying? What are we going to do with them? Right? We need to have a conversation with some of these cosmetic companies, seriously, because they're killing the women. They're killing the women because you kind of, there's always this feeling after your period, you feel like you're supposed to wash down and you're dirty and you're filthy, and you just feel like you should do so much more to clean yourself. It's great to learn, all of this. So, I mean, she's coming back. And if you're just joining us, we've been having a great conversation on why it's so important to pay attention to your feminine health, feminine hygiene. So, if you're doing things anyhow, you don't want to do that. You have to have enough underwear so that you're not doing wash and wear. And that's why a lot of people have to sponsor the programs that we do. So you can imagine girls in Africa, how they're struggling to wash and wear underwears because they don't have the money. Imagine that their vagina is decaying. I mean, just think about it. Their vagina is decaying because they don't have, they don't have the luxury of being able to afford different underwears and, be able to kind of dry it outside and air it and give it a break. So you can only imagine what is happening with them. You can only imagine. So she has shared so much content within this short period of time, really showing you what to do, what to touch and what not to touch. I think one of the lessons I got there is women have to pay attention to washing their hands a lot so that you're not carrying your dirty hands down there and take on, begin to have the flora travel from different places. Please be careful. We have to put into action all that we've learned from Sarah. We're trying to have fun with it, but this is serious business. It's a serious business. When she talks about people's fallopian tubes being blocked just because of some kind of diseases, it could be avoided. So please really take what she shared with us seriously, and try to do the best for your vagina. Treat it as sacred, right? Try to wash it. And another thing I learned from her is really if you can rinse off when you use the bathroom, because if you're not using so much soap, then what happens to if you're really having an interesting number two, and you feel like you have to wash it down? So please, the flora that travels. I can't. I just sis done. I've checked out. I'm out. So please, we're having fun, but this is serious business. Sarah is about to come back in just to share with her. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I'm so sorry. The network. See, I kind of feel like this network has got
It's
some
so
flora.
fun.
Don't you think so? This network has its own flora. It's trying to mess things up. So, can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Sarah? Oh my God, I feel so bad for her. But this has really been a great, beautiful conversation. So please, if you do have a question for us, we're going to be bringing the sessions to you. We're going to be bringing the brand new session, everything about developing the woman, the African woman, and we're going to talk about everything. I'm serious. We're going to talk about everything. In as much as we're talking about, I know Sarah just kind of dropped. She just dropped the mic right there. She's like, "Hey, if you're doing the mouth thing, I don't know." Um, I'm telling you, Sarah, we're having a great time here. Seriously.
I don't know why the network is trying to frustrate me.
We, we're having
Yes, the
a great
network
time.
has its own flora.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So this is fun. So what do we do? I was trying to ask a question because like and sometimes these teas can just produce the kind of number two that are just like, hey, this number two requires me to wash down. So do we stay with water, or we can, like you said, the unscented soaps, we can use those ones, isn't it? Can you hear me?
Do we?
Do we stay with just water at any point in time?
Is
Even
that, do
when
we
you
stay with
like,
water?
yeah, just use only water. Like, I mean, if you had a bad number two, how many of us have had that kind of number two? You just have the number two, and it's like, whoo, and you feel like you have to wash down. What do you use at that point? This network is not going to let us. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't think so.
A mouth soap is fine, and water.
Okay.
I can't stress on that enough because of the pH of the vagina. It's so important.
Mm.
You know, yes, I can hear you. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mhm. I can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I tell you guys, this network is not good. It definitely has flora, and it's
So
misbehaving.
I was saying that I cannot stress on that enough. That you should make sure that whatever you do should not disrupt the normal pH of the vagina. And mouth soap is fine, and water. It's totally fine to use a mouth soap and a lot of water. That is all. You shouldn't use anything extra like a vaginal spray, um, a wash, a disinfectant. You shouldn't use anything like that. Just a mouth soap. And
Okay, that's awesome. Well, guys, I really apologize with the network and just messing things up. But I think that we will bring Sarah again when the network is a lot better, to be here with us. It was such a great conversation. If your question wasn't answered, please do us a favor to leave it in the comment box. And Sarah would be sure to come in and answer all the questions for you. Please do not feel shy. If you think that your question is not one that can be in the comment box, I mean, you can put it in her inbox. But it would have been great if you can put it in the comment box so that we can all learn, all learn. Okay, we have something here from Sarah. She says, I'm about to reconsider soaps and types of bubble bath. I tell you, the bubble baths, hmm, there's so much. I mean, I'm just listening to Sarah. I'm just like, okay, 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 Sarah, okay. But it was so great. It was so great. I learned a lot. And please make sure, one of the things she really stressed on is make sure that your man is not, listen, if he just finished doing the egusi soup with, cocoa yam and crayfish, fish, and whatever mixed together. Sis, please don't forget the bulb. And at any time, just you know what, brother, fix yourself up, because this flora, when it starts flying around, it has no control. Anything can happen.
be kind to the vulva.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sarah. We really enjoyed the conversation with you. Um,
I
thank
wish I
you.
could share a screen, but I don't know how to. But I think I have. Is it clear? Can you
Yes,
see?
absolutely. Wow.
So
I can.
that's yes.
Wow. Wow.
So
So
that's
that's
a
that's
vulva.
the full picture. Mm.
Yes,
Ladies, can you see the
and
picture?
there's so
Yeah.
that's actually someone's vagina.
Wow. So it
Those
can
two.
it
Mhm.
can open
Yeah.
up. It can, it's such an interesting organ, and I think God is very really
Yeah.
smart. And I think God actually put it at that point, at that spot, for a reason, that it's kind of hidden and sacred. So we have to treat
Yes.
it as that. Wow. That
You
that.
don't have to.
Hmm. So it's not something. A vagina is for you. It shouldn't be shared by, it's not a family property. It's just one to one.
And allowing normal flowers to be flying without.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. So, ladies, thank you so much for your time. It was such a great conversation. Sarah, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. I know that there's so much that we're going to have to work with you, even in the areas of women's fertility and all of that, because those are your area of expertise. And we have quite a number of midwives that came on. Sheila was here from Kenya, is also a midwife, and she was excited. She was excited to have you here as well. But thank you so much. We really appreciate you're making out the time to be with us. Thank you for the work that you do. And we're looking forward to have more sessions with you so we can really go in depth on so many things. I mean, there are some questions that we need to ask, and I know that women here have some questions they would like to ask. My sister Lucia, Lucia is right here. Welcome, Sister Lucia. I hope you were here when we talked about the cocoyam and all that. I tell you. So as soon as the guy is out from the pepper, I hope he's not taking the kind of pepper from Nigeria. I'm not sure if there's any country that eats pepper like Nigerians. So if he's coming with that, it's going to be a double flora. Okay, Lebo says, I would have loved for Sarah to touch on the issue of vaginal tightening, because most women kind of feel the need to and use all kinds of things because they want to be tight. That's great. So we're going to bring her back. We'll bring her back. She has to talk to us about vaginal tightening. That is a thing. Thank you, Lebo, for mentioning that. Because so many women, it looks like Sarah is back. Sarah, are you able to take a question? There's a question here on vaginal tightening. I don't know if the network is going to let you.
Okay. I think I have to speak to that as well.
Okay.
Women come, and after they give birth, their mothers and other people advise them to be sitting on hot water with salt. And even some people, even after episiotomy and suturing, they are made to sit on hot water.
Yeah, even on some spices. Some people do spices in water. We put all kind of things. We kind of want to cook pepper soup there. Put all kind of things just to tighten the place. I want to know too whether this is working. But network is not going to let us. Oh my God. Oh my God. The network is not letting this happen. I think we just have to bring.
Hi, Dr. Louisa. Please, is it fine now?
Okay, well, let's try again. Yeah, you were.
Yes, so I was saying that it is not advisable to be using this hot water and salt sitting on it. Most people, after episiotomy and suturing, their wounds get infected again, it opens up, and we have to re-suture again. That is not helpful. For vagina tightening, there's an exercise called Kegel exercise. Kegel exercise that even as we young girls who have not given birth, we can do that to help us tightening our perineum, so that when we go into labor, our perineums do not tear.
Okay.
So the exercises, I don't know how to explain it, but just like maybe you want to pass through, but you are holding onto it for a while,
Okay.
like that. So you can do it while sitting, you can do it anywhere, anytime, whilst walking, sitting, bathing. It is not a difficult exercise. You don't need any subscription, so you should do it. So
Wow.
you sit, and just like you are holding onto something, maybe you want to pass through, maybe you want to wee wee, but you're not allowing it to come out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Release. You do that for a while, and that will help you tighten your vagina, because your vagina is muscle.
Okay.
The vagina is a muscle, just like a rubber band, just like a rubber band. When you stretch it, it do not come back to its normal state, but when you pull it back like that, it goes back to the state. It might not be as old as it was, but it will be better. It will be better. So You do not need to be insecting things too. And the vagina is not supposed to be too tight. The vagina is not that tight. I don't know where exactly we want to see in life, but no, it shouldn't be like that.
Okay. Wow. We have to
Yeah.
talk about this
And
subject.
the
They have a lot of problems.
I know,
They have all
I
kinds of
know. It's
procedures to tighten the vagina. It's insane the pain women are going through. Hmm.
it's because of the myth going on around that when your vagina is tight, that is when your husband would be able to enjoy penetrative sex. And all these things running around is in the favor of the men.
Mm.
Women do things, I don't know, I don't know when women will do things in favor of themselves. Women do things most of the times in favor of their husbands.
So true. Mm. Okay, network is here again. I'm so sorry, guys. This is such a great topic.
Hi, Dr. Louisa.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello? Mhm.
Hello, Dr. Louisa.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys. The network is really poor. If you're just joining us, please make sure that you do, watch the video from the beginning and post whatever questions that you have about feminine care, feminine hygiene, vaginal tightening. Is that a thing for you? Is that something that has been bothering you? Well, help has come. Breaking news. You can now begin to do the Kegel exercises on your bed and do the different things that would help you. Women do things in favor of yourself. Absolutely. The better you are, the better for your husband you will be. That is correct. That is correct, Coach Kemi. We are constantly worried about other people. We leave ourselves. You're trying to tighten everywhere. Tighten your tummy, tighten your boobs, tighten. Oh, Jesus, tighten until you tighten and lose everything that has to do with you. But God will help us. So, thank you, ladies. And we will be bringing so much to you. Next week, of course, we have another topic coming up. But during the week, we will continue with our Women in Politics program, where we bring advocates from different countries who have either run for office, are intending to in office, lost it at the polls, whatever. We have to advocate and get the message out there. And so, we're going to keep doing it. We're not stopping. We're going to keep advocating with everything that concerns the woman. What we do here, Women Who Win Africa, we're all about empowering and equipping the African woman to win in Africa and globally. So thank you for your time. I hope that this session was helpful. Good, Kevin. I hope this session was helpful for you and you learned a thing or two and you're going to throw away the soap. And, all of the great advice from our experts, please put it to practice. Anytime you want to do anything that's off, remember the flora, remember the bacterias, remember the pH level, and all of that. So many things that you should think about that should scare you. So please have yourself a wonderful afternoon, evening, and night, and God bless you. Thank you. Bye bye.